Postal services began with the use of military messengers and travelling merchants to carry mail across the ancient Middle East and Asia. Their impact was such that historians often regard the evolution of postal services as a measure of a nation's economic and social development. The unification of Saudi Arabia under King Abdulaziz initiated the consolidation of various irregular mail delivery systems into what later became Saudi Post, and with it the introduction of a wide range of regular postal services. But the difficulties of extending them to include the delivery of letters and parcels to their final destination had always proved insurmountable, and many people remained skeptical.
أحياء البلد القديمة بتضيع، وأنا أقدر أدلك على طرق صحراوية أسهل من بيت عيال عمي.
توصيل البيت صعب، بيتي بعيد ورا الجبل.
الطفرة الأيام هذه في التجارة والصناعة والعمران وفي جميع أنحاء المملكة. إمكانية متابعة التغييرات هذه كلها في جميع أنحاء المملكة لتوصيل السلام البريد يبدو لي مستحيل. أنت معي في هذا الموضوع؟
In fact, Saudi Arabia had never had a residential or commercial address model of any practical kind, let alone one able to keep pace with the speed of the kingdom's ongoing development. It was a massive problem, but one that Saudi Post was determined to overcome because the benefits of home and workplace delivery were so immense. At the very least, such a service would make e-shopping much easier, even for families living in remote areas, and minimize the need for people to travel sometimes long distances to often very crowded administrative or collection centers. Saudi Post's new Wasal service is designed to do much more than add a convenience factor to existing services.
إن التحولات والتطورات الهائلة التي يشهدها البريد السعودي اليوم سيكون لها عظيم الأثر على النهضة الاقتصادية والاجتماعية التي تعيشها المملكة اليوم. بدأت مؤسسة البريد السعودي في بناء بنية تحتية بريدية متكاملة تغطي المملكة وتساهم في دعم أعمال التجارة الإلكترونية والحكومة الإلكترونية في المملكة العربية السعودية. نعتمد في البريد السعودي على أحدث ما توصلت إليه التقنية لإنجاز أعمالنا ولتقديم خدمات بريدية ذات جودة عالية لعملائنا، فنعتمد على تقنيات وأنظمة مثل أنظمة المعلومات الجغرافية وأنظمة الملاحة وأنظمة متابعة السيارات وأنظمة الشرائح الذكية لتقديم أفضل الخدمات لعملائنا. وتغطي شبكة البريد السعودي أكثر من 4500 مدينة وقرية وهجرة داخل المملكة العربية السعودية، تشمل أكثر من 6000 نقطة تواجد في المملكة العربية السعودية. ونعتقد في البريد السعودي أن الاستثمار في العنصر البشري يعد أحد أهم مقومات نجاح العمل.
Of course, many countries have home delivery services already, but nowhere had they been achieved in anything like the circumstances facing Saudi Post, because Saudi Arabia is itself unique. No other major nation has matured into modern statehood as rapidly or as dramatically as Saudi Arabia. But even so, remote villages and small towns still maintain their traditional ways of life, far from the surge of modernization taking place elsewhere. Even the cities often contain areas of closely cluttered streets and unnumbered houses, whether outgrown vestiges of the past or deliberately preserved mementos of it, and all of this in a country over half the size of Europe, and whose topographical variety, while a delight to natural scientists and tourists, presented the Saudi post with every kind of physical impediment. It soon became clear that resolving these difficulties was beyond the scope of any existing mapping or postal coding systems. In both cases, Saudi Post would have to break new ground. Its position at the crossroads of the great civilizations of history ensured that the Arabian heartland was repeatedly, if not always accurately, mapped. Today's mapmakers achieve an extremely high level of accuracy by making extensive use of satellite photography and advanced surveying techniques. But even this degree of precision had to be upgraded to meet the WASL requirement, which demanded that cartographers be able to focus down from 2.4 million kilometers to a 1 meter resolution, a world record for work of this kind. Yet, as precise as this work is, constant updating and verification is required in an ongoing, low-tech operation at street level. The division and coding process was extremely complex. Throughout the progressive segmentation of the country, consideration had to be given to all kinds of physical impediments, to access, to actual and projected densities of population, to weather patterns, administrative boundaries, and a host of other factors affecting the siting of depots and the planning of delivery routes and schedules. So that it could be used internationally by Arabic and non-Arabic speakers, a unique all-numerals postal code was devised, delineating the postal regions and breaking them down into sectors, divisions, and the quadrates which guide each postman to within range of every addressee's mailbox. Gearing up the operation has called for a considerable investment in the most advanced, sometimes specially modified, technologies and equipment. The high-tech heart of the system houses and constantly updates an immense amount of information. It records every item of mail as it enters the system and permits every stage of its progress through it to be monitored and supervised from a central control room until it reaches its final destination. But for all its dependence on sophisticated technologies and equipment, the success of the WASL service depends ultimately on people, especially the many new employees now being recruited and trained by our instructors. They will ensure that as well as delivering the speed and convenience of advanced technologies at the post office counter or at one of the new, conveniently sited, fully automated kiosks, the WASL service also delivers efficient and friendly service at the personal level too.
إن ما نشهده اليوم من نهضة اقتصادية وثقافية واجتماعية يحتاج بالتأكيد إلى بنية خدمية قوية تساهم في ترسيخ هذه النهضة. ولعل الخدمة البريدية هي أحد هذه الخدمات التي تسعى حكومتنا الرشيدة إلى الرقي بها إلى المستوى المطلوب ليتمكن المواطن والمقيم في هذا البلد من الحصول على الخدمات التي تليق به.